but I will go ahead and kick us off. We're going to go around and talk through what we think is important for mobility and why we think it truly is an ultimate partner to the business, and go from there. So I think that mobility really is an ultimate partner because it enables the business to be agile and flexible, and we're only seeing a world that's becoming more and more global with more global mindsets needed. And I think that a strategic, strong mobility team is really vital to help the business get to that next stage. And along with the necessity for global talent, knowledge transfers across borders now, different language skills, cultural intelligence, we're also seeing another area become really important to the business and also a struggle in terms of navigating. And that area is remote working. So remote working paired with an increasing global workforce will lead to diversity and innovative solutions, but it also comes along with, as I'm sure you all know, quite a few complexities in the realm of compliance, especially with immigration and tax and employment laws. So with the interest in international movement among talent and the increase in remote and hybrid roles, mobility is becoming an extremely important partner to ensure that the business can continue to attract and develop and retain talent while remaining compliant and trying to mitigate risks where needed. So I think that being at the forefront of those conversations with the business gives mobility an opportunity to have educational and meaningful conversations around different creative solutions of attracting and retaining talent. We all know, and I think this conversation happens a lot around the majority of tax and immigration laws not catching up with where we're at from an international remote working perspective. And so for that reason, it really remains vital for the business to have a great partner at the forefront of those conversations that understands how that landscape is developing, but also what are the limitations, what are the restrictions that we have to work in. And through this core understanding, it will allow us to come up with some creative solutions to these challenges. So some solutions I think that have already been identified are, different updates to relocation policies to attract a different type of assignee or transfer now who wants to move, who wants that global experience, virtual assignments, and different elements of working across borders without necessarily needing to cross the border, programs that allow employees to work remotely temporarily, and even employee-driven requests for transfers and localization. So all of those are very, very new ideas, I think, in the world of mobility and in the world in general. So I'm really excited to hear what my other co-chairs have experienced in this realm, and also when we go into the breakout rooms here, what you guys think about the ultimate partner and where you see mobility sitting, and see what continues to happen in this space as well. So with that, I'll pass it over to Anna.
Thank you, Samantha. You just summarized everything in the importance of having global mobility partners in business. So actually, I will introduce myself again. My name is Minna Safori. I'm Egyptian, based in Egypt, currently working remote for a UAE company. And I would tell you, although the industry of global mobility has been in for around 20 to 25 years in the Middle East region, I can see that we don't have the knowledge of global mobility, and that's why you will never find it, because actually the business in the Middle East, the local companies decided to move and decided to globalize and make an expansion around the world in the last maybe 10 years or maybe 5 to 10 years. So actually we don't have the knowledge of global mobility, and that's why the business decided to understand the importance of global mobility. It allows the business to tap in new markets abroad, having a physical presence with the local talents in a crucial step in creating an effective global expansion strategy. actually having employees around the world give the business an advantage to understand and learn new perspectives and attract new talents. Relocating employees from one place to another, it's important and has a mutual benefit to the employee and to the employer as well. Expanding the knowledge of your talents and attracting new talents and new mindset is an advantage for a global expansion. So actually, I can see that we are an ultimate partners, and we should be a part, as a global mobility members, we should be a part of a business decision. And that's why there was a discussion in the background in the business whether we can be seated as a solid department, or we should be a part of HR department, and it's a fight between the HR and the business. So in any way, so I can see that in the Middle East, the potential and the opportunities to grow and to brand ourselves is much more important nowadays, and especially with a lot of policies, remote work, and especially post-COVID, we understand that we can hire people from everywhere, from anywhere, with a remote work policy in global mobility. Again, I can see that we should be an ultimate partner. If not, it will be the company may trigger compliance issues, and it might. And this is actually, in some companies, they face a lot of challenges with the tax and immigration because they were not putting the global mobility in track. In my experience, I used to work in a startup companies in Egypt, and as I mentioned, in Egypt or in Middle East in general, they are not aware of the policies and the taxes and immigration rules in each country, and it cost us, especially in US, it cost us around $100,000 as a penalty because of missing the taxes. So I can see that global mobility should be a part of decisions. It includes they should make a decision in the table regarding the compliance risks. So that's why I can see that if we are not now, if in the past we were not a part of the decision, now it's impossible not to be a part of the decision.
Yeah, look, I mean, Samantha and Mina have covered off a lot of ground in relation to the ultimate partner for a business decision, and I don't know that I would add a lot more great value around that particular narrative. I will come at it from a slightly different lens though. And Andy, I'm sorry if you didn't mean for me to come at this from this angle, but I read this and I automatically thought of it from the perspective of the ultimate partner to the employee, as opposed to the business. And so maybe that's my customer-centric kind of mindset, but for me, and you've probably heard me say this, you may have heard me say this in other forums, but for me, I find that it is such an honour to have this role and support an individual at the cross sections of their personal and career. Like, I couldn't think of a more vulnerable point. And I think about like some of the travel I've done, mainly as a 20-year-old and less with a family and a full career plate going at the same time. But to meet someone at that point where their personal life of moving countries and their career, because likely they're uplifting going to a new role, meeting them at that point at their most vulnerable where those two things intersect, I couldn't think of a more ultimate role and an ultimate partner that they would need at that point in time. So for me, that's why I think we're the ultimate partner to an employee. And I think furthermore, since the pandemic, that has kind of extended its scope a little bit. And Samantha touched on it a little bit when she was talking about it, in the sense that the employee-initiated aspects of moves now are obviously coming to the forefront for us all, and a big part of our remit now. So whilst we might not necessarily be administering their move, it could be self-initiated. Your organisation may not even entertain self-initiated moves, but the individual wants to do it themselves. they still look to mobility for that SME knowledge, whether it's a formal move or not. Us holding that knowledge as a subject matter expertise and being able to share it in a formalized business move or an employee initiated move manner, that makes us the ultimate partner in my view.
So where we have interconnected.
Using this platform as the voice of global mobility professionals.
HR and global mobility, they work very closely when we need to deploy a particular talent, because global mobility professionals rely on HR for selection, for candidates selection, and in terms of talent management, I think a global mobility policy should be mapped with the talent management policy, as then it can ensure that a right talent is being deployed for the right opportunity, and then there are fair and equal international assignment opportunities for individuals who deserve to be on assignments.
Listen to the needs of the business while educating them about the intricacies of what managing a global assignee looks like, and what the company's obligations are to the assignee, but also from a compliance perspective, just really helping to educate the decision makers so that they are well informed, and so that there are no surprises.
When it comes to raising your profile as a global mobility professional, I always prefer to go ahead with a business plan. So I always like to present things, and when I say things, it's more like a case study with numbers, with figures, because in order to be heard, I think what you should do is definitely use that data to take the attention of the senior members in the company and have further discussions about the compliance and the risk. So what I do is mostly do a kind of casework and show the figures and the risks. Less words, more numbers. Less words, more real cases happened and how they affected historically the companies in those jurisdictions. That always helped me to sell my case.
All right, I think I'm going to kick us off. So again, for those that might have joined late, my name's Ray Kirby. My pronouns are he, him. I'm based in Seattle, Washington, and I lead global mobility and immigration for Qualcomm, a semiconductor company based in San Diego, California. I have been in this role here for about 6 months now, but I'm not new to mobility. I've been in mobility for about 15 years. I started my career on the third-party provider side. I've worked for companies such as Cardis and Grable before transitioning to corporate. I have had the pleasure to support mobility for several multinational companies, including Amazon, Nordstrom. I worked for X, formerly known as Twitter, and most recently a cryptocurrency company, Coinbase, based in the San Francisco Bay Area. In my current role, I've been tasked with designing and delivering a strategic approach to managing mobility. Qualcomm's mobility program has always been pretty tactical, and so I'm excited to kind of change the way that our business sees mobility as we really create that true center of excellence and start aligning our talent strategy to our mobility initiatives. So global mobility, why is it the ultimate partner? I have a lot of things I could say here, but I'll start off by saying, from my perspective, I often find that we are the unsung hero in the company, sometimes the jack of all trades. I wear many different hats depending on the day, and sometimes this job can be pretty thankless. Oftentimes I hear no feedback unless something has gone completely wrong. But why is it the ultimate partner? I think from my perspective, again, we are one of very few people in the company that have working knowledge in multiple areas. I'm an expert in tax and immigration, payroll, remote and flexible work, relocation. I am strategic, we are strategic, but we still roll up our sleeves and we get into the weeds. We're solution oriented, balancing the needs of the business and the employee while also considering tax and legal considerations. We support not only the internal stakeholders within the company, but sometimes we are the only advocate for the employee and their mobility journey. I find that what we do is extremely rewarding. Being able to tell an employee that their green card has been issued has to be one of the, I would say, most rewarding parts of my job. But again, when I think about Ultimate Partner, I think about the fact that we wear so many different hats and that, we make such an impact in the employee journey and in how the business manages mobility. And I think for that kind of summarizes it for me. So I'll pass it over to Krista.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. Again, my name is Krista. I work for PagerDuty, and I've been here just over 9 months. I am setting up, similar to Ray, a strategic mobility program to help the company as we scale and expand more globally. I've been in mobility for over 13 years, gone from the engineering industry to accounting and now to technology. So a good variety of industries and different experiences. And absolutely agree with what you said, Ray. There's so many ways that we as mobility professionals are really intentional in what we do in partnering with the company. The relationships that we form are so imperative to being an ultimate partner. And, we think sometimes about just the relationships internally, which we have with our assignees or relocating employees, as well as our internal stakeholders. But there's also the piece that comes into play with our external stakeholders. Obviously, we all know we work with a very big variety of different suppliers when it comes to our program. So being a partner to them is also really important to the success of our program. And I think one thing too that I'll say is I think it takes a unique individual to be in mobility. And what I notice when you look at kind of the scope of all of the different HR and people services, mobility is kind of a niche, and that you either love it or you don't want anything to do with it. And so I think because we are in mobility and we love it, we have this added passion that we bring to our roles. I think we're empathetic people, and we really are, like I said, intentional with what we do and how we do it. And I think that really brings an extra element to how we can be a really great partner to all of those different stakeholders. So I'm excited to kind of hear what all of you think about how we are ultimate partners and how we can even become better and stronger partners. And with that, I will transfer it over to Marina.
Thanks, Krista. Hi, everyone. So again, I'm Marina. I'm based in Vancouver. I'm originally from Brazil, so I'm relocating myself. I've lived in other locations as well in the past, like France and Toronto, before moving to Vancouver. I've been working in the mobility industry for over 15 years now. I've been on the vendor side, as an immigration advisor, also work at RMC, and then I switched to HR, where I work in the tech industry for many years, helping the companies building their mobility programs, facilitate global expansion as well to other locations. So I was able to work in a truly global environment and all the continents so far. So, and nowadays I'm working in the shipbuilding industry based out of Vancouver. I'm a mobility lead here, and in my role today, I work in the talent acquisition team as well. So we really leverage mobility as a strategic partner to attract the best talents, retain our top talent as well. We are involved in developing policies for immigration support as well in order to retain these valuable talents. And as Ray and Krista already mentioned, I think we are strategic partners because we have all the skills that we need in order to, really navigate the international landscape. So I think these skills are very hard for us to find if we don't really have all this empathy. So I think more and more mobility is gaining this recognition, and companies are really recognizing the power of global mobility in attracting and retaining the top talents. I think companies, they often realize that in order to excel in this competitive landscape, they really need mobility to attract the best diverse and talent pool, bringing also unique perspectives, different experience, different creativity, and also innovation, because different backgrounds will bring like different ideas. Also address issues like labor shortage. This is like a very much a reality here in Canada. So I think more and more like this is a common scenario, and Canada is one of these examples. So I think global mobility is key for us to have the best brains working in our companies, and also it's key to expanding into new markets. So I'm very looking forward to have this discussion with you and learning how we can build a more strategic seat for the mobility professionals.